Okay, guys, thank you very much for making the time. Thank you for the opportunity to have me on this Digital Jamaica. Big up to all the sponsors. My name is Roshuan Clarke. I also go by the name Basie of the group TOK. We have an hour to have an open discussion about merging technology and creativity. I have a presentation here that I have as an overview of where technology and creativity merges for me. And I've done it in a way where there are some principles that can be applied to you depending on what creative area you're in. But before I get started and while we wait on the interpreter, I really want to have an idea of the full audience, everyone that's on the call or on the session. So if you could just write in the chat your name and what your creative area is. If you're a painter or a graphic designer or a sculptor or a musician, or even if you're not a creative but you're on the call, just share your name and your profession or your aspiring profession. That would help me to have a better understanding of who is on the call and to probably ensure that I shape the conversation so that it's relatable to everyone on the call. So I'm still waiting on the interpreter, and until that time comes in, I'm not able to see the chat. So if you guys are already sending in some responses, if we could get that shared, that would be great, just to have an idea of who is on the call. Thank you very much. I appreciate the interaction. So do you see anything from your side, Ms. Fries? If not, we can continue. All right, guys. I apologize because I'm not able to see the responses, so I'm not sure if I'm missing and I'm not being guided as well. So let me dive right into the meat of the matter, so to speak. All right. So we're going to talk about merging technology and creativity. Of course, these two worlds have been merging for some time now, but we're talking about it in the context of 2021. I'm going to go through the principles of discovering new income streams, what has worked for me. We're going to dive into those points and we can have discussion, feedback from your side as well. We're going to move from there to reimagining the creative landscape. How do we do things different in 2021 than before, in the advent of COVID, in the advent of globalization, where we are more in a global market space, and also just reimagine yourself to be more competitive in your market. And then we're going to dive into the hot topic of the year, I would say, NFTs. And then I'm going to close off with a little bit on another opportunity that I'm exploring now called Tapestry. All right. Now, in terms of the principles of discovering new income streams, I approach it in a very scientific way. I believe that if you think about it like a ocean and different river streams that come down to the ocean, you can go, if you're always getting your water from one stream and that stream dries up, you can go hunting through the mountains to find another stream, or you could go to the ocean and have all the streams come to you. So in my mind, it's always better to go to the ocean. And this ties into a principle that maybe a lot of you would have been exposed to, called the blue ocean strategy. And I'm not sure, I'm not the expert on the blue ocean, so there may be some overlap between what blue ocean represents and what these points that I am saying, but I've heard here bits and pieces of the blue ocean strategy, and it seems to be aligned with how I approach my different income streams. So these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are the 7 principles, the 7 fundamentals for key to success in my perspective. The first thing is that you have to find your niche. And when we say niche, we're not just referring to you know, it's a cool word to say you have a niche, but niche is really saying that you have something that's super unique about you and about your offering. So, and as I go along, I'll share examples. So if you are I have a friend who is a lawyer, and that lawyer offers services for people to put together their will and an estate and so forth. Of course, there are many lawyers out there who offer that service. So the question to this lawyer, in my mind, is what makes you unique? Why would someone go to your legal firm outside of, you know, price and maybe relationship? But what else would let them come to you other than going to another person? And this is where I suggested to the person ideas such as delivering the will with video. I don't know if this has been done before. I'm sure some people are doing it, but if you could talk to your client and say, okay, you want me to deliver the will after you pass. Do you want to record these words so these words are coming from you as opposed to me reading them out? Do you want a staggered rollout of the estate? When your child becomes 16, there's another video that we can play for that child when they become a message for that child when they become an adult. This might be very valuable to a client, but it's also very unique because it's probably not what the average lawyer is offering, because the average lawyer is not a creative person who's going to line up a video and get into that side. They're doing a specific task. But this might be something that gives you a niche offering. And of course, eventually others might offer it and you'd have to find another way to make your offering unique. But these are the kind of things that you want to find. And that's just an example. So follow your niche. Also, or find your niche and follow the money. And when we say follow the money, it doesn't mean to be to lower your standards just for money. What it means by following the money is that there is normally a trail where the investment is coming from. And if you can find where the investment source is coming from and align yourself with that, then you would have a better chance of finding the money. Did you get any feedback on the first question? Because I'm not able to see
Yes,
that.
we have. So we have graphic artists, painters, dancers, YouTubers, aspiring stack developer.
Okay.
We have actually several graphic designers. Actually, most of them are graphic designers, and this person makes handmade soaps. Yeah, those are the responses we've gotten so far.
So we have the graphic designer, we have a soap man.
Graphic designer, we have about 4 or 5 graphic designers. We have dancers, we have artists. I'm not exactly sure what kind of artists. We have a YouTuber, and we have an aspiring full stack developer and lecturer.
Okay. All right. So we have a nice diverse offering here, group here. All right. So as I said before, I asked that. Thank you guys for sharing that. And I asked for that so that I can make the conversation geared more to something that's real for you. Okay, so we started off with the niche, right? Finding your niche as a graphic designer. What makes you different from every other graphic designer? Now, there's no new way to create the principles of graphic design, but maybe the way that your style is unique, maybe creating a new style, maybe merging different existing styles to find a new way. These are things that, and this is off the top of my head, these are things that might make you a little more unique. But definitely following the money as a graphic designer, as a software developer, as a dancer. You know, the normal graphic designer in my mind would be getting a call for a job, or has an office and people coming to that office for a job, or you might have a regular a 9 to 5 as a graphic designer with a company. But outside of the steady income of a salary, if you want to find income streams, following the money means that maybe every other week you check some of these World Bank or funding agencies RFPs that go out, because some of these guys might be asking for a job and they have it out there just based on procurement. It has to go to the public. And if you keep your eyes and ears open to those stuff, you probably can get some opportunities coming out of those because you're following where the money is. Donor agencies, government agencies, banks, financial institutions, those guys always have funds and they're looking for ways to engage. Some of them have entrepreneurial programs. So find the money, find your niche and follow the money. The next point is to sell your value, not your skill set. This is very important because a lot of us, as it relates to music, for instance, a lot of us are great vocalists, or you're a great performer, or you're a great writer. But that's not what you're gonna go to someone and sell as a promoter or as a booking agent or as a record label. What you're gonna sell is the value that you will bring to them. And so your conversation really needs to be around business and not around the creative. The creativity is the solution or the tool, is the means to the solution, but you're not selling, you're not gonna go into a pitch to a potential customer and tell them, oh, I can design this in this amount of minutes. And no, it's really more about, I see that your company is here and your company wants to go here and I can take you there. That will come in the process of the actual artwork, that's the skill set, but it's also my intelligence that comes with the skill set for me to translate to you things that you don't know. That's the value that you bring to it, not just the design, but understanding that colors communicate brands. You might be speaking to a customer that may not even understand the importance of color or font in their marketing. These are the added value that you bring to the customer, not just a skill set, but what you have learned over the years as an experienced person. And you sell that, you sell the value of that because that's what they will get from you as opposed to going to another person with similar skill set. The next point I would say is and by the way, guys, at any point, feel free to stop me. I'm not sure how the protocols are, if it would be a chat or a question and answer at the end, but I'm totally fine for being interrupted if you hear something and you want more, want me to share more on it. All right. Another fundamental for success is leveraging your partners. Now, a lot of times in creative, we tend to work in silos because we tend to we are in an industry that we are competing against our peers. So we normally feel like we got to do this on our own. At least in the music, I can speak for. As a dancer, you might have dance crews that just, my crew over here, so ravers, that deal with, some folks from dancer them from Mobe or, whatever rivalry goes on in these different creative industries. But partnership is actually very important because what you want to do is reconfigure your mind space against the creative marketplace and more look at it as a business. And you can say to yourself, okay, guess what? I'm only making X amount of dollars with this customer base that I have. So for instance, you're a graphic designer, you keep designing for party promoters. So you're doing flyers every year, every other week, and it's paying the bills, you're doing it, it's okay. But you might realize at some point, hey, I want to do more than just flyers and I want to work for more than just promoters. You might say, doesn't anyone in the Ministry of Tourism need flyers for their operations or for their different activities? By getting a partner that can get you the right conversations with the Ministry of Tourism, then that partner will help you to widen your customer base, and you're helping them by being a pool of resource in their offering as well. So partnerships are very, very important. And I would say that because from a personal experience, a few years ago, I decided to do a festival called the Blue Mountain Music Festival. And in designing that festival, I wanted to do it at Halliwell. And I didn't go to Halliwell, the managers of Halliwell, and say, can you just rent me the place? I went to them with a partnership and said, what is it that's important to you? Because I don't want to just take the property and do an event that doesn't enrich your property. and your marketplace and people coming to Halliwell. So by creating a partnership, they were way more supportive of the event. They helped me to get certain doors open, and it was a win-win. So partnerships are very, very, very important. I would encourage everyone to look at people who are like-minded in terms of your business character, your business values, but they have access to markets and to customers that you don't have access to, and create some partnership with them that they get either a percentage of what you work, or you do a trade-off, you offer some services, you do some flyers for them, they open doors for you for other opportunities, different ways that you can work the partnership. Okay. The other point is that you must make it very easy to do business with yourself. You don't want, it's very hard for a customer to, well, you can imagine if you walk into Tasties and you say, I want to buy 2 patties, but I only have euros on me. Automatically, they don't really want to take that because that's a headache for them. But you're the customer, and so they will find a way to take it because they have to meet you where you are. They might take it mainly only with US dollars, but at least they will take it, you know? And you want to do the same thing. If you're going to a customer, you want to make sure that the customer says, if the customer says, hey, I only have PayPal. Okay, I got a PayPal account. That's no problem. Hey, I only have Cash App. Okay, I got a Cash App. No problem. Zelle, the same thing. So you want to meet the customer where they are, as long as you're not compromising yourself and not going out on a limb, so to speak. What's also important for you to improve over time is to always get feedback from your customers. Never leave the job as I've delivered it, full stop. Always get feedback, because that feedback, one, sends a message to the customer that you're interested in doing better always. So they're building a better business relationship with them. But also on their side, they're able to help you to improve your skill for offering to other customers. Because every time you improve your skill, it just improves the value of what you're offering out, because you have been able to get valuable feedback from a customer. And the last thing I would say is just stay on top of the latest trends and emerging technologies. Things are always changing. There's always an easier way to do stuff. And the people who are less open and responsive to these new trends are normally the ones who are left behind. In the music space, from around maybe 20, 25 years ago, people started to use computers in the studio environment. It was no longer analog. Digital studios came around. And a lot of fundamentalists or purists in our music industry at first weren't too eager to go to Pro Tools. They weren't eager to go to digital. They believed that analog would always stand the test of time, which it may always be around, but there's no arguing around the level of productivity and the efficiency that comes with digital, a digital studio setup. So those who were accepting of that very early and adapted to that are the folks like Don Corleone as a producer, the folks like Jeremy Harding as a producer, who produced Who Am I, Sim Simmer, and it was also the manager for Sean Paul. So very successful producers like Genius, Stephen McGregor. All of these folks were able, they could choose analog studios, would be a lot more investment, would mean a lot more overhead, would mean a lot more input. Or you get a computer and you get some speakers and you set up your digital stuff and you keep it moving. So those who were accepting of the latest trends at that time can safely say that they have reaped the reward of being ahead of the curve. And now when you have things like NFTs coming out and all that, again, it's always good to be ahead of the curve. All right, so this is the end of the first point, or the first chapter. I'm going to pause and ask if there are any questions before I continue.
No questions right now.
Okay. All right, so let's move on to reimagining the creative landscape. So it flows very closely to the last set of slides. it means that with emergence of new technologies, with COVID, with different things happening, you have to reconfigure your mind around where you are and what you're offering and who you're offering it to. So I have a few examples here of new ways that people are making income within the last, let's say, few years. So as a graphic designer, as a YouTube, as a artist, that it could be a vocalist if you're a vocalist, background vocalist, video editor, all of these skill sets, you can offer that service through your third-party marketplaces, such as Fiverr. Most of what I do in music now in terms of designing my artwork, lyric videos, those kind of things under my record label, Barmrush Records, I outsource them to third-party marketplaces. It's more economical. I have more options. It's quicker. It's less back and forth, and it just works for me. And I don't know if the people who are doing the design, if they're from India, if they're from Jamaica, if they're from Australia, because you can get an idea, but the point is you're connected globally. Nationality has no bearing on what you're doing in these kind of settings. So you as a Jamaican or a Caribbean person can automatically tap into a global marketplace through these third-party marketplaces. Fiverr is one for creative designs, and Cameo is one for, similar to drops or dub plates. I'm in a music industry now where normally a sound would call me and say, hey, I want a dub plate. Can you sing over this song with my sound name? And that's a one-to-one contact. But sometimes people get robbed in these situations. They go to fake accounts, they spend money, and then they can't get the dub plates because it's not the authentic artist. By going on a platform like Cameo, you can allow yourself to sell the services of dub plates and drops on a reputable site, and people can feel more comfortable finding you there. So this is something that people can go and check out: Cameo and Fiverr. Some call it Fiverr, some call it Fiverr. Of course, the latest craze is social influencer. A lot of people are, using social media as a way to build their profile. And in the process of building their profile, they have a lot of followers. And then brands come and say, hey, I want to align myself with you. So you see that happening a lot with I see it a lot with brands like don't misquote me. I think it's Pretty Little Thing. Or Savage Fenty, a lot of female outfits that are designed for a specific body type or a certain set of, probably age group, certain demographic. They tie themselves with the influencers that has the reach to that demographic. And you, therefore, by just being yourself, putting your personality out there, putting your art out there, getting a community behind you, will be able to leverage that, where brands will come to you and say, hey, I want to reach out to your community. Can you give me a stamp of approval for this? And that can be exampled in, as I mentioned, brand endorsement, as well as referrals. I think there's even on Facebook, I think there's this badge thing that once you put that badge, people can, you can make money off of Instagram just by putting the badge on it. So those are things that are existing, and I'll talk more about that a little later. We can also reconfigure your offering from your skill set. So I'll go more into a personal example here now. Around 2013 or 2012, I was at a point where I had done a lot in music. I had achieved a lot. I think we as TOK were very, very successful. But I found myself unchallenged with the creativity. It was almost like a formula. You knew what to sing to please what market, and everybody in the group knew what role they carried in the group. And I felt very unchallenged. I needed more challenge than what I was doing. So on tour, I said, I'm gonna think outside of the box. What else can I do? And I turned to the guys and said, hey, we can make music about anything. I personally can write a rhyme around anything, and that's what we do in Dubplate. We reconfigure songs for different audiences, for different sounds. How about we take it to another level and instead of DJing about girls or DJing about dancehall, how about we DJ about the news? Of course, some of the guys were like, "You're crazy," but fortunately, I had some partners at a company called Listen Me Caribbean. Big up to Kenya Mattis and Icon, the producer, and also Eugene folks. And when I came back and I approached them, they were like, "Oh, this is perfect." And so we just did something very innovative. We didn't know what would happen, but we just got a green screen, got a green cloth, I got a beat. I looked at the newspaper, and I just created a song around the news of the day. And that went very viral, and it created a whole brand called Listen Me News. We went on to be a news program that was acknowledged by the German News Society for its innovation. We went on to be a staple on CVM for around 2 years, delivering the news in dancehall, DJ, music. We went on to use it as a service provider for organizations. So talking about reconfiguring your mind, when Corona hit last year, I said, hey, there's no way I'm gonna tour. What else do I have in my portfolio that I can monetize? And I came back to Listen Me News and I just found some partners, just like we said, find partners. And I say, hey, at this point, and this is an important point for us to remember, guys, everything that's happening, there's always an opportunity there. Everything, even in a pandemic, there's so much opportunity, which I think most of you know already. So I went to partners and I said, hey, every organization right now needs to communicate something unique about their organization as it relates to the pandemic. Whether it is an organization saying we're closed for the next 3 weeks, or organization saying, hey, we're doing deep cleansing, or our next organization saying we're working from home. Whatever the communication is, everybody has something to say. The government, the private sector, everybody. So I asked partners to go out and find organizations that want unique messaging that aligns with Listen Me News. And within 2 weeks, we got a contract for Red Cross International because they wanted to promote the message of anti stigmatism and basically people not starting to stereotype and discriminate against COVID patients. And we did a whole song, we did a whole launch, we did a whole thing, and it was very successful. So that's a good example of me finding a way to leverage what was in my skill set and you bringing it to a whole different marketplace through a partner, and it paying off in that regard. And the final thing I would say is just always try to be the first. Always try to be the pioneer. Always push the boundaries, because that gives you one a position of authority to speak on it because you have already been there or created that space. But also, people tend to go for partnerships with folks who are forward pushing. You know, if you're following, you're probably not as valuable as someone who is leading the space. So always try to be the first at what you do. All right, so this is the end of the second chapter. I think I need to speed it up a little bit. I realize I'm at 3:30. So we're gonna dive into the meat of the matter, so to speak, NFTs. NFTs are the latest craze. I think NFT is a game changer way beyond how it's being used now. I think it's very applicable to graphic designers more than anyone else on this call, but it's also very applicable to artists. It's also applicable to YouTubers. It's applicable to developers, and even for the lecturer in education. It is a game changer at any level that you can imagine. It's probably able to go there as a new advent. All right. So, what is an NFT? An NFT, I'm pausing because I was wondering if I should do a survey and ask. Could you just ask folks if they know NFT, how many people know NFTs, yes or no? I just want to have an idea if we have an audience that have been trying to play with it already or pretty new to it. Thank you. But I'll continue. Sorry?
Roshuan is asking if any of you here, if you're familiar with NFTs. Have you ever heard the word before? Do you know what it is? Have you ever tried dabbling? Shannon says, I don't know about it. Shamika says she's new to it. Tenaje says she's pretty new to NFTs. Listamere Gibby, anybody over your end familiar with NFTs? Tiana says she has not heard of it.
Okay, great. This is good. So I'll walk you through it as I know. Again, guys, feel free to throw the questions. Feel free to stop me anywhere along the way, because it's really new and it's a lot to take on if you're new to it. But I'll try my best to simplify it as best as possible because it really can make a difference for you. All right. So what is an NFT? NFT, the term stands for non-fungible token. Now, outside of the technical term, what is really an NFT? It's really a unique digital asset. It sits on blockchain technology. It is valued in cryptocurrency. And I'd like to say it's a game changer for digital ownership. All right, so let's pause and dive a little deeper into it. Cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other cryptocurrencies are built on a technology called blockchain. Blockchain technology simply means that every transaction goes into a block. It's closed, and every element of a transaction goes into a block. It's securely closed, and the different activities create a chain. Now that's a technology side. You don't really need to worry about that. But the point is that blockchain technology creates encrypted assets. So how do I describe it now? Okay, let's say, for instance, in the physical world, you were to create a piece of art. Everybody, folks, I don't know if you guys know the Mona Lisa, one of the most popular paintings that ever existed. The person who painted the Mona Lisa sold that, and I don't know who owns it now. It's probably at the Louvre in France or something, but different people have owned it over the years since it was created. Now, I could get up tomorrow and say, I own the Mona Lisa, and somebody else said, no, I own the Mona Lisa. How do we know who owns the Mona Lisa? Well, someone has to produce a piece of document to show that they own it. Well, it's the same thing in the crypto space. If I create a digital version of Mona Lisa, and people, just like art, people say, oh, Basie created that, and Basie is this world-renowned painter. Well, I think I want to buy it now because I think it's going to be worth 10 times in the next year. So people want to buy it. Now, when someone buys it, especially in the digital space where someone can cut and copy and paste, how do you know who owns it? Well, this is where the crypto NFT, the NFT is that ownership. It's that unique digital contract. It's really a smart contract that shows that whoever holds this smart contract is the owner of this digital piece of art. And that's kind of the basis of where this is going. It means that because it is built on this thing called blockchain, which is like a secure way of holding information, it means that the ownership can be held on this blockchain and it cannot be disputed, and it will be there for the end of time. And also you can look at the ledger and see who owned it when, and as it changed ownership, you can follow that like a diary. So this is changing the music space and the creative space, because now artists and when I say artists, creatives, I should say, are creating NFTs and getting a lot of money for it, basically. Examples of this is a group called Kings of Leon, a famous rock group. They released an album earlier this year, and they released an NFT with it. And with the NFTs, let's say they released around 100 NFTs. If you were to buy one of those NFTs, owning that NFT means that you have, I think the benefits that they sold with the NFT was that you could have access to backstage for their concerts. You could have access to unreleased music of the album, unreleased version of the album with new music never heard anywhere else. You could have access to lifetime front row access to their concerts, different things that would be valuable to a fan or a supporter of that band. And similarly, in our space, it can be applied to anything that you're doing. So it's really, really popular, and I want to dive a little more into it. I'll probably come back to this. So here we have an example of a NFT that went viral in April this year, or May, sorry. Eminem, very famous rapper, decided to release 3 sets of NFTs. He released, on the left, you can see what looks like a toy package, like a miniature M&M. Now, this is all digital, you know, guys. This is not a physical copy, but it's designed. It's look like a physical copy. I actually almost bought one. When you press it, you hear the sound like when you're shaking something here. So it has the effect like it's real, but it's not real. And he built one for Slim Shady. You see, he has his different names. So Slim Shady, this one is Marshall Mathers, and this is Eminem. So he was able to diversify his brand. He has different alter egos, and each of these sold for something like 5,000 US, just a collector's item. Now, the thing that's driving NFT success for this year is that collectible culture, that collector culture. If you guys remember, there was a time when people used to collect baseball cards, or people used to collect NBA cards of their favorite players, or people used to collect, Power Rangers cards for different. And now it is not Power Ranger. Now it is my son doing Pokemon. Now it's Pokemon, right? So you collect all these cards, and they have different value, and then you trade. You have 2 of these cards. Okay, let me trade you for 1 of yours, kind of thing. It's the same concept in NFTs, where now you could buy all of these M&M collectibles. You're gonna spend 5,000 for it, but please believe someone, because he only did an auction for 30 minutes for all of his NFTs. Once they're sold off, they're sold. So someone will say, hey, if I want to get that M&M one that I missed in the auction, I'm willing to pay 3 times it from someone who has it in their collection. And that's where the value goes. So I could have bought it for 5,000, and I could easily sell it back for 15,000, and I'd make 10,000 on my M&M card. If I hold on to it, maybe in 10 years it's worth 2 million. So that's the idea. But the thing is, NFT is the important part of it, because the ownership is real now. So even if someone wants to copy, crop this picture and say, I own it, yeah, that's cool. You can say you own it. But when I want to buy it from you to say, I am the owner now, I can't buy it from you if you don't have the ownership. If you don't have that NFT to show that you own it, then you're not the authentic owner. You're just someone who copied it and have it on your screen. So this is where the game is changing. I can proudly say, or humbly say, that I was the first to release reggae NFT. When I came across this concept in March, I loved it so much I just dived in and I created an NFT. I sold 1, I created 7, and the first one sold for 0.1 Ethereum, which is the equivalent of at the time 250 US. So I sold this album cover and the song. You can play the song. So the song and the album cover was sold for 250. But it's not the song people paying for. They're paying for the art and the fact that this was the first reggae NFT. So over time, the value will go up. This is a whole new way of making money, of another income stream outside of just doing the music. Of course, you need to work out the rights. So fortunately for me, I produce my own music. So a lot of the songs I have either exclusive ownership for the rights or at least part ownership. So I have that ability to play with my music like that. But the point is, we dropped that one. This is another very successful story that came out of this NFT space, which is Tory Lanez. What he did was release 1 million NFTs and sold each of them for $1. The NFT was his album, the artwork, and his full album, and you could buy it for $1 US, and it sold and he sold 1 million copies in minutes. Minutes. That means he made $1 million. Even though he sold it for one, but he sold so many of them. Now, here's the real good thing about it. When you bought that for $1 million, just the fact that the story goes out that it went to 1 million. When you decide to sell that album again for $10, you make $9 on it. If you wait 2 years, they probably can sell it for $100. So you spend $1, you make $100. It just like every other piece of art, most times it goes up in value over time. So once you mix that with your music, there's no telling how much you can increase the value of your music in this NFT space, right? Eminem, so part of it is that the NFT space is most effective when you have a community, because what it really is a way for your community to support you. Imagine if when Bob Marley started to sing, imagine if everyone on this call could say, hey, I think this guy is going to be big. I think he's going to be the biggest thing in the Caribbean, the biggest artist in the world in the future. And let's say he said, I'm putting out 100 Bob Marley collectible cards. This is the only time it's going out, and 100 of them. And if you bought one of those for, I don't know, $1 back then, can you imagine how much that would be worth now? That is the idea behind NFT. If you could own a piece of that artist and that painter or that graphic designer or even dancers, this is open to any creative that can come up with a unique way to represent their brand in an NFT. And once somebody buys into that, they're not just buying into the NFT, no, they're buying into the community and they're buying into where it's going. So when Eminem had decided to put out his NFT, a lot of people were intrigued because Saturday Night Live did this little clip, and I wanted to share it real quick.
Over the next few days, the world-famous JVCon event will be taking place. Viewers from all over the world will be attending the historic event.
All right, now that little video was a trailer, but what's the most important thing I want to share is a few things. One, remember guys I said about partnership. Eminem entered the NFT space when a lot of people were already buzzing around it, but what he did was partner with this company here, Nifty Gateway. So Nifty Gateway did all the heavy lifting, all of the blockchain configuration in the background, and all he had to do was bring his brand to the space, probably share ideas of how he wants the brand to be presented, but all of the heavy lifting is here, right? Also, by calling it a ShadyCon, which is like very similar to Comic-Con, you know, a whole conference built around comic and cartoon lovers and game lovers around the world. By saying ShadyCon, it's almost like he could do this every year. He could launch he could have a ShadyCon every year, which is, I guess, Shady Conference. And he could put out his 2022 edition and 2023. And every year, just off of this alone, he makes, I think he made $2 million US off of this alone, right? Also, what was interesting is if you, I don't know if I can get to here. No, it's not gonna happen. But the last scene you see in the video, you see this Jason mask, this skate mask at the top with a lot of people below. He created one copy of that artwork, one copy, and sold that for like, I think it started at 40 or 50,000. And that one is one person in the world that owns that. So the value of that is super, super high, especially if you're a diehard Eminem fan. I'm an Eminem fan, and I would probably want to buy that from that person if I can afford it, if he's offering a price that is worth it for me to spend on an Eminem collectible. But this is the whole point. So this is the NFT space. It's really linking, and it's very, very popular amongst graphic designers. If you are a graphic designer and you can create unique pieces of art, you can create, and even for dancers, I would say, if you can create unique videos that represent unique dance moves, and you can own it meaning you created that. This is probably a way to monetize it by creating, I don't know, 100 or 200 NFTs of this dance move. And people who are supporters of dancers and want to, support you will buy it. They will buy it for, $100 just to give that support to you. But also when you move from being a dancer at this level to being, on Netflix with your own show or on the stage with, J-Lo started as a dancer. So imagine moving from being a dancer to becoming J-Lo, your own big superstar. Anyone who owned that NFT then can just probably retire off of this sale of one of those NFTs. So that's the idea. I said I have mine. Now, the last thing I want to say on NFTs is I created my own, but there was not a big community behind it. So it was very groundbreaking, but not much followed after the launch of it. What I've decided to do is always be building more partnerships with other NFT spaces that are like-minded. So within the last few weeks or months, I've seen the emergence of this one called Crypto Rastas. Now, Crypto Rastas really and truly is a community of Rasta believers, Rasta supporters, Rasta like-minded folks, Rasta enthusiasts around the world to monetize and empower and enrich their community by engaging in cryptocurrency. Now, what it means is that I think what they did was launch 10,000 NFTs, crypto Rasta NFTs. And those were probably traded for little or nothing, like $1. But when people got them, the supporters, the people of the community that got them, when they went out and traded, I heard of one person selling a Crypto Rasta NFT for 5 Ethereum, which is around, I think, I don't know the rate now, but at least $20,000 or between $10,000 and $20,000 from one sale. So, and that money now, when the money comes back into the community, some of it will go to the community and some of it, majority of it will go to the owner of the NFT. But that also means that more money coming into the Rasta community. And then what they have done now is done donations and social work with some of the money that is coming in through the Crypto Rasta community. So once I heard that they were doing that, I teamed up with them for the first artist drop they are doing, which is this Saturday, tomorrow. It's gonna have 10 different artists, and each artist has one unique NFT. So my NFT is only one of its kind. My Crypto Rasta NFT is only one of its kind. There's Lee Scratch Perry, the legend, on it as well. So you'd have one of his. There's Kabaka Pyramid with one. There is Itana with one. There is Bushman's, 10 of us. So if you're a fan of Itana and you feel like, hey, I know Itana is a great artist, I'm glad to see her in the crypto space. You know that when you spend this money, it's going to get to her. So you support her. And this is part of the crypto thing as well, because sometimes a person will see an artist and say, I want to support this artist. I see this artist coming up and I feel like I would spend some money with them. But, if you buy the album, the money is not going to the artist. The money is going to the record label. If you go on Spotify and stream the artist album, it's only a couple cents out of every stream going to the artist. So there are so many middlemen between you as a supporter and the artist that it's in your advantage or to your advantage to find a way that you can get that money straight to the artist that you want to support. And crypto NFTs allow that, because I have a base C, this base C NFT is built on a base C coin, because I went ahead and created my own crypto coin around base C. So any NFT that you see with base C on it that is around me, then you know that it's an official thing that is supporting the artist, right? So look out for this coming tomorrow. It will be launched on at 4:20 p.m. And you can find out more on my social media. All right, now let me see the time. We have 10 minutes left, and I also want to allow for any questions. So my last 2 slides are around this new way of making money called Tapestry. Now, Tapestry is an app that allows you to monetize your data. What do we mean by that? Typically, on your phone, you're collecting data always. You're collecting locational data and other things. And the apps on your phone, such as Instagram, Facebook, they all are capturing your data, and they're also leveraging your data to sell to other providers. The business value of Tapestry is saying, if other guys are monetizing your data, why aren't you monetizing your data? So it's an app that you can get on. You can open it, allow your locational information as you decide. You don't have to share everything, but if you decide that you want to monetize it, you could say, okay, for the weekend, I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to, everywhere that I'm going, it can capture and it can share. And how it works in the back end is that if Burger King wants to know how many people came in the proximity of us on Barbican Road, or the bank wants to know how many people came to New Kingston to NCB, how many people went over to Scotiabank, how many people went to JMB. That kind of data that's capturing from everyone's phone is very valuable to financial institutions, commercial institutions, and that kind of stuff. And they will try and get that. The data is already there because your phone is already capturing it. But if you can tap into some of the money that's being made of it and monetize it and sell it, then you can make money. And it can be a passive income. You can also do it in a referral way and bring in other people and get paid from that. So this is an example. I personally started out with this at like last month. I think it's last month or something like that. But I have screenshots of other folks who have been doing it for a longer period. You can see someone just made $6.50, just passive, just by. As a matter of fact, some people met this without even realizing that that's what made in the month, because it's not something that you're checking, or it's very in the background of your phone. It's sharing data as you decide, because you have to allow it, and it is making money. And then on the left, on the right, you can see someone made up to $906 passive income. So this is a way that you can also, in the post-COVID time, you could either have this app on your phone and generate some passive income, or you can join the referral system, and you can even make a lot more money by signing up a lot of other folks. And I can share more about it, but it's something to really check out for yourself. As always, guys, everything I share with you now, I advise you to do your own research, check it out, ask your questions, do your due diligence till you feel that you have something that you're fully comfortable with, and then surely run with it. And having said that, I would say we have around 5 minutes left, so I'll open it up for any questions. Thank you so much for the time. Yes, Tapestry, it is a US originated app. However, now it is available in Canada as well, and the roadmap is for it to be globally rolled out. So again, I have the app in Jamaica, and I'm generating some passive income on it based on just being in Jamaica. I'm sure it would be making a lot more if I was in the States. So if you are a person that traveled to the States, or you have family in the States or Canada, this might be more valuable to you now, but eventually it will be global. So again, being first to market is important. So, check it out. So the guidance counselor, clear presentation, the students are loving it. Okay, great. I'm happy that folks liked it. Shout out to Tiana Samuels as well. Thank you for the blessings. It was so this was about NFTs. Most of the response was about NFTs. So while I'm here, guys, I have 5 more minutes. Any questions you want to ask, feel free to. All right, the site for NFT, I wouldn't recommend a site. I would recommend YouTube. Well, I guess it's a site, but I would recommend YouTube because they have so many videos. And the more you watch the videos, is the more you get to dive deeper into it. Because there was a slide I actually skipped over, which was the process of it. The process from getting your crypto and getting your wallet and minting and creating your NFT and marketing it and selling it. But since we're all pretty new to it, that's something that you can dive more into on another call with myself. I'm happy to create a WhatsApp group and share knowledge. Or you can definitely find out more about it on YouTube. Tapestry is the same, but I have a website here that you could use to contact me personally. I think this is the site. Shout out to my partner at Tapestry. Let me see. Let me see. All right, I'll type it in at the end. It's on my other phone. But any other question, guys? How do you know what types of items would do well as an NFT? So NFTs, as I said earlier, is as wide as your imagination. So right now, the place that people are playing with it most is with graphic art. However, it's gonna be a game changer for land ownership. For instance, there's gonna be a time when a government, instead of giving you a title on a paper, they'll give you a land ownership title as an NFT. And that means that all the factors and all the variables of ownership that is captured in that title, that physical title, will be captured in a smart contract. It means that when you're selling your property, instead of going to tax office and paying this and the vendor fee and the lawyer fee and the this and the mortgage and all that, I said to Tiffany Daly, hey, you want to buy my house? It's gonna cost this amount of Bitcoins. All right, I have it. Transfer the wallet. I transfer the title to you to the NFT. You own the property. 1 second transaction, maybe 5 seconds. Changing out all the different points between selling, exchanging of one title to another. So it's gonna change that. It's gonna change insurance policy. A lot of times we have an insurance policy, and even though we insure that we have a car accident, we have to go through a whole year of activities of checking off and police report and all of that. No, you're gonna reach a point where your insurance policy is an NFT. It has all the factors to trigger the payout. If someone hits your car in the back, it's a payout. If someone hits your car in the back, the NFT automatically activate that. It's triggered. It's no longer subjective and long drawn out bureaucratic. That's what the value of NFTs. But for now, to answer your question, who asked about where? How do you know? Right now, the main thing that I would say where you can really see a lot of people doing it is in graphic design, motion art, 3D art, that kind of stuff. Exactly, Shannon. It's a long, drawn-out process sometimes, you know, and the real indicator of how efficient and productive a country is how easy it is to. I think Mr. Wayne Chen was on the opening forum yesterday morning, and he said this same thing, that how easy it is to pay tax will really make the difference with how much the government collects on taxes. Not so much that people don't want to pay taxes, just how easy or how hard it is. So if you have these kind of things that can make transactions simpler, people will be doing more. Where do I go to create an NFT? The best place to go to create an NFT is rarible.com or rarible.com. RARIBLE.com. I also wrote it in the chat if you need to see it. And then I was supposed to put in the link for the tapestry. 1 second, guys. Tapestry. I'm gonna give you the site now. Am I on the right track? Tapestry. Okay, just writing in this one as well. But shoot the questions, guys. I'm happy to help, to share. And I also wanted to ask, is everyone on the call from Jamaica, or do you have outside of Jamaica on the call as well?
I think most persons here are or we
All
have somebody from Canada, I think, but I think most persons who are here know they're local.
right. I want to reply to Tiffany. So, Tiffany, you can get my NFT at OpenSea.com. This is the OpenSea.com is the largest gallery marketplace, I should say, for NFTs. It means that any NFT that is created sometimes, even if it's bought on, even if you bought Eminem's NFT on a on Nifty Gateway website, automatically it is also published in OpenSea, which is a marketplace, and that marketplace allows you to build an NFT as well as trade NFTs. I also put the Tap with Basie that tech is a site that brings you to the tapestry stuff. Afterwards, I will speak and to the organizers of the event, and if there's a need for any follow up, I'm happy to assist as well.
Awesome, Roshuan. Thank you so much. I'm sure you guys would have learned a lot, and I'm sure persons are going to go away and think about it, and then send me a bunch of questions.
Yeah.
Later on, but I'll be sure to forward all of them to you. So guys, Roshuan, are you done? Is there any final words? Any sign off?
Well, I also just want to do a little shameless plug about the new music coming. I had planned to release my new album King Bass this Friday, today, November 19th. And I wanted it to be something that I could have announced on Digital Jamaica and on this webinar, this summit. However, I just got a feature from Bounty Killer on the album, and Bounty is a big influence for me. So I have to work on that track and get that completed for the album. So I just decided to push back to early 2022. So if you guys are still remembering after the Christmas holiday and after the New Year's, I ask you to look out for the King Bass album, which is my second solo album to come out after going solo from the group TOK. And it's gonna have Bounty Killer, it's gonna have Christopher Martin, it's gonna have Bungie Garlin. You'll have a reunion record with TOK. We have also my newly signed artist, Cindy Lyons. So a lot of music coming. And yeah, the NFT, the main thing is the Crypto Rasta NFT for tomorrow. So please go and check it out. And all of my social media, you can find me at BHC Music.
What's the link for the Crypto Rasta?
The Crypto Rasta is, you can bid for it on OpenSea, the same website that I shared, OpenSea.com. Let me just write that in again, OpenSea.com for Crypto Rasta. Crypto Rastas NFT November 20.
All right, guys. So if you want to check out more about that crypto, that NFT that is to drop tomorrow, right, Roshuan?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Right. So you can go to OpenSea and you'll find more information about it. Make sure you're following Roshuan at Basie Music. And as soon as that album launch is here, you will see links on our Digital Jamaica and our Dear Jamaica platform, because we support the people that support us. Roshuan said yes instantly to us, and I think we share the same common objective, which is to get our youth technified, right? So make sure you're following Basie, make sure you're following Digital Jamaica and Dear Jamaica. Roshuan, thank you so much, guys.